Hello, I'm Aubrey Shepherd with John Rule on the 7th of July 2014. How time passes. Got some outdoor photos. There is a passion flower. We talked about those some more earlier this summer, but that was
the big one.
The big one, and we'll see a smaller one here in a little bit. There's a swallowtail. Can you tell what kind that is by any chance?
I don't know. I think it's black.
Not a black.
It's not a black.
It's well, one of those.
Which?
One of those others.
It's
okay.
Not a.
There's
the smaller one.
Tiny passion flower.
Tiny passion flower.
And it really is tiny compared to this. It's not nearly as grand because it doesn't have the purple, but it's got the colors you see in the center, but it's called yellow. This is an obedient plant, and they, oh look.
Oh my. Those white
spots tell you that's that's a fawn deer, but in a second you're going to see a closer zoomed up shot. You see up there above his eye toward his ear?
Yes, I do.
Little dark place. Spot. That's where those antlers come out. Yep. You've probably seen a lot of them with the antlers started.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But this was
the buds, the spikes.
A great shot for me.
It is a great shot.
More than 200 feet. I mean, I could barely see him out there, and I just got lucky and kept zooming on him.
Wonderful.
But anyway, it's going to be a buck. Now, here we are, and somebody confused obedient plant with liatris. This is liatris, and it's just the first ones in bloom in Fayetteville that I've seen, except, where they're planted in people's garden and they watered them and held to super sun and all that.
Yeah, go on.
Somebody bent these, John,
they sure did.
and made them stay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a storm. It wasn't, anything you could think of, but just plain pulling a joke.
What family does Blazing Star belong to?
That's what liatris is. Right. Blazing Star is one of them. There's several different names and different categories.
Yeah.
This is a tiny pale pink thing. That's out at Pinnacle Prairie, and I don't remember its name. I've learned it in past years, but
there's so many.
And there's, what do we call that for? A snout bean. And here's a tiny insect, and the reason I blew this up, and you can see the grass behind it, is little blue stem grass.
Right.
And I can't tell anything about that insect, but I liked it, so it's there.
Now it's quite a lineal insect.
And here's your small milkweed, and you see the what do we call it? Roost. Okay, this is another milkweed.
You mean the leaf arrangement?
No, the thing next to it was
was no, I don't.
sumac, and it was with that one. That's why I had them together.
Right.
And this is the bumblebee again, getting its nose into. I usually have pictures like the same thing almost for about 3 weeks, and then go out of bloom. This is a Manduca rustica caterpillar. It's going to be a sphinx.
It's a big one.
Moth, yes. You can see my daughter's fingers there holding that stem for me and giving a comparison.
About second finger length.
And guess what? That's a 5-day-old picture now as we're recording this on the 14th. Right. And that thing is bigger now. It's been eating this non-native privet.
Right.
And, I thought that no native insect would lay its eggs on a privet.
I didn't think so either, really.
But once I finally figured out what the name of this was by the help of friends on Facebook, and I could name 2 or 3 that had some interesting theories. They thought it might be a worm that eats your tomatoes or something. But no, that is a wonderful thing that eats all kinds of plants, including privet, which nothing else eats because it's not native. So I'm glad to have it. Anyway, next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd asking you to do your part, help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green, and enjoy nature. John does.
Amen.
Hi, John. This is Aubrey Shepherd and John Rule. And we're looking at photos, outdoor photos from Fayetteville, Arkansas. That's basket flower. That's the
good
first
flower.
one
I was
in
going
bloom.
to ask you about that.
Yeah, the first one in bloom in my yard. And I'm not sure I'll have more than one or two others. And I think there are 2 or 3 at World Peace Wetland Prairie for sure. But you know, they were just about wiped out. There's our small milkweed, verticillata, and that's the, what do we call that? Sumac.
There you go, Schumacher.
Yeah, Sumac. That's the old-fashioned way to say it. It's an
Sumac.
SU, and they say,
Sumac.
I don't know what they said originally.
Well,
we hear it both ways. But here's this. This is what we looked at earlier in the spring several times,
Yeah.
and it was the bluntleaf milkweed. That one's growing in the midst of little blue stem grass, which is
Right.
coming up on the prairie sites all over town. And you remember we saw these. You've been to
Yeah.
see these
Yeah.
plants right here, and they're still in bloom, but most of them are starting to dry up, and that's the common milkweed.
What kind?
The common milkweed.
Common,
Asclepias
right.
syriaca. And it's got a bumblebee.
Yes, it sure has.
And so, you know, these things, like I say, this is probably the last week to see it in bloom, and that's the
That's
Manduca
Manduca
rustica,
rustica again.
sphinx moth. And it eats privet in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Black swallowtail caterpillars on blue fennel. I think
Uh-huh.
blue's a cultivar, but anyway.
Yeah, I've got a fennel bush, but I haven't seen any of these on it yet.
Well, you better look when you get home, because I bet they're there now.
Doing well.
This
That's a monarda of some type.
Yes, it is. And there's that
And there's that
little tiny passion
Passion
flower.
flower.
And we've had those now for 3 weeks, I guess, and hoping to see them all summer.
Yeah, they
Those
don't-
vines, the new growth, the new growth as the vine keeps growing is where the flowers are. So they get
I
higher and
see.
higher in the tree sometimes.
Right, yeah. What have you got out in there? There's
Okay,
that,
that's milkweed.
Butterfly.
Milkweed, butterfly weed, and in the background is a destroyed lot. I used to see all kinds of milkweed and all kinds of, look at that little grasshopper, see? See how
Yes, I
long
do,
it
I
is?
see.
It's
Yeah,
called a
right.
longhorn grasshopper. Anyway, that lot with all that stuff spread on it, illegally done here a month or so ago, you know.
Oh my.
And
Well,
but I went
the
down
box
there and
turtle.
it did have milkweed and
Yeah.
a bunch of other things coming up
Right.
that I used to see there and get the photograph, but most of it's covered with rock and stuff. And that's a box turtle.
Beautiful box turtle.
And-
Did it have red eyes or regular? The red eyed ones are supposed to be males, I think.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
You're probably right. But anyway, now that's a ironweed, that red thing. And they'll be
Right.
much brighter red soon.
Right.
And once again, I've got to have.
I had one in the car
bumblebees.
today. The
You did?
bumblebee, yeah.
You did?
Let him out.
Oh, I'm sorry. You could have brought him in and let him out.
Well,
Held him up.
I wanted him to be able to go home. Her to be
Here's
able
the
to go home.
Asclepias
Yeah, right.
viridiflora. Not viridis, viridiflora.
Oh.
See, this is a smaller plant, and
Right.
the leaves are smaller, and the flowers are smaller. It should be in bloom maybe by the time people see this on public access TV. And I don't know what that is. It's yellow, and it's growing, well, we'll talk about it, just about what it is. That's rose pink gentian, and notice some things are eating part of its leaves off. Today, the 14th of July, was the first day I spotted these swamp vervain plants, or verbena simplex, or
vervain,
something.
verbena,
Yeah. Anyway, there's several species, and had some insects, and that's mountain mint, and that's another thing out at Pinnacle Prairie, lots of it, and there's
Honeybees there.
honeybees. Yeah, it's great to see the honeybees. We don't know
Yes,
anybody with
they're in danger. And
that's Plains coreopsis. It
Plains
had a little
coreopsis.
insect on it, so I
with
cropped it.
an
to
insect
show
on
how
it,
to
yeah.
get- And that's the rose.
Vervain again.
No, that's a rose gentian, I think. Till next time, this is Aubrey Shepherd and John Rule asking you to do your part to help keep the water clean, the air pure, and the woods green. See you, John.